There's a new tag going out from Sarah of Ginger Peachy Pens. She calls it Ink Rainbow 23. And she wanted us to gather our favorite inks that represent the rainbow. And I thought, hey, I'll do it too. Besides, who doesn't love a rainbow? And it is Pride Month. So there we go. Anyway, I recently got back into fountain pens. Hard, y'all. So hard. And I go on little excursions looking about. I actually found one that was $14,000. I am not that crazy, but I do love me a sweet fountain pen. Anyway, it's how I started on this journey, and I wanted to share it in my videos now. So in terms of the colors that I will be using, that I generally gravitate towards, I prefer bright, rich hues. And these are the colors that always found their way into my art quilts and now into my ink colors. Now, here's a little known fact about me. These are the colors I grew up with in the Bahamas. They were painted on houses. You could find them in flowers. You can find them in clothes and typical handmade items like straw baskets. So yeah, I kind of like bright colors. Okay, let's head to the overhead and get started. Alrighty, here we go. Let's start with pink. The pink that I chose is Ferris Wheel Press Lights on Broadway. I've been looking for a pink that reads fuchsia rather than red, or maybe a little purpley, and this is the one. I was actually in New York when I found this. I was visiting my son, and we happened to go into a stationery store, and I remembered I wanted a pink. This one came up. Love that pink. Alrighty, so Ferris Wheel Press Lights on Broadway is that first one. The next, I couldn't choose. Red is one of my favorite colors. I named my first company after him, Red Barn Studios. I don't know if anybody remembers that, Red Barn Studios. And I couldn't decide between two red colors, so I decided to include them both. The first one, let's go with the NOODLER'S Bay State Cape Cod Cranberry. I love this one because it reads a little in the pink. It has tones of pink in it, but it really does come off red. And it almost looks, it definitely almost looks orange, a little bit orange against the pink. Of course, I forgot to get my garbage near. And this one is reading quite nicely a pure red. The next red is Robert Oster Fire Engine Red. This is one of the first bottles of ink that I purchased. As a matter of fact, when I got back into fountain pens, my husband got into fountain pens as well. And I said, you choose a color, and he chose red, which is so surprising for me because when I first met him, he was all about the mauve. I mean, seriously, he was about the mauve. Ugh. And now he wants red everything. Everything. He actually wanted red pots too. And I'm like, no, dude, we're not having red pots. Check yourself. That's the second red, I should say. And then we go to orange. Now, I like a true orange. I know when I say true, it's actually absolutely subjective. But the one I got is this sample, which is DIAMINE Coral. Let's not put the wrong N in there, right? And it's almost like a tangerine orange. And I'm getting my fingers all messed up. We should be wearing glue when we do these things. Glue. We should be wearing gloves when we do these things. Okay. Next up is a yellow. It's another color that I've searched for. I love yellow, but the yellows that I found were too light. I use my pens, when I ink my pens for the month, I use them in my journal, but I wrote with yellow once and I can't read what I wrote, and it's just a lost page to me. So I wanted to find a yellow that actually I could see, and then I don't know why I bought a bottle of this. This is DIAMINE Gold Star. And it's a shimmer. It's a gorgeous shimmer. And I hope that comes in. I hope we get to see some of that shimmer. Yeah, there you go. Cool beans. As you can see, they're bright. They're very bright. The next one is green. Now, I chose this green because obviously it has to be matching the bright colors, but I love the name of this green. I think I saw it first on Yuseka Stationery. They were doing a couple of ink samples, and this one. I love the name, Appletini. Literally, I got this because the name was Appletini. I love the color as well, but Appletini, have a martini on me. Alrighty, let's get to swatching this one. She was showcasing two colors. One was called Jingleberry, and I thought it was going to be a really pink, but it turned out to be more of a purpley pink. And so I kept searching for my pink. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, this is almost like a grass green. And then at the other end of it, it actually looks almost chartreuse. So yeah, there's the green. So cool, so gorgeous. Next up is blue, and I got the blue in a sample pack from Goulet Pens, and this blue is the Pilot Iro Shizuku Konpeki. Oh my God, this has become my favorite blue. I actually write a lot in blue ink. I don't write in black ink, and this has just won my heart. So cool. Look at that. So bright and daring. That's what it is. Bright and daring. Oh, so pretty. And the next one up is teal. I'm not a teal fan necessarily, but I do like a good teal. And I got this sample. This is Monteverde DC Supershow teal. Why a fountain pen ink has to have that long of a name, I don't know. But it is a good teal. It is actually a really good one. Oh, look at that. So rich. Oh my goodness. You're just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Alrighty. Next up is a color that I have never liked. I don't have anything purple, or I should say, I didn't have anything purple. And now in fountain pens, I'm kind of liking the purples, which is so weird. Anyway, this one, and I need to order a bottle of this. This is DIAMINE Brilliant Violet Copper. And you can see I have let's see, I have very little left. Very little left. Let me shake this up because it's actually, there's a copper hue to this that is just beautiful to see. You should see this toothpick. I mean, this, look at that. That is, oh, just absolutely in love with this color. Next color is magenta. Now, I had a hard time picking magenta. Not a hard time, but it's not a color I gravitate to because it is not a saturated color like these are. But I bought a sample of this one, DIAMINE's Blackberry, and I absolutely loved this color. So this is what we're going with for magenta. And it's more of a eggplanty color. I wouldn't call it a true magenta, but I call it an eggplanty. But I'm just going to keep it in this category nonetheless because I love the way it writes. It's like true elegance. Alrighty. And the last color in the list that Sarah put out is brown. I am not a fan of brown. I would rather have a gray than a brown. And I thought about adding my gray to this list, but gray is a color, but it's kind of like in the white is not a color and black is not a color. They are just the outside ends of the rainbow, and they're not in the rainbow itself. So the only brown I have, and I think I want to get one more that's leaning towards almost like dark orangey brown, but this one is DIAMINE Tobacco Sunburst. And so as I said, this is the only brown that I own, sample or bottle. And I actually like it. I've written with it in my journal. I think I want this. It's almost like it has a greenish tinge to it. Alrighty, so there you go. Those are my ink rainbow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write in here. Come back in a minute. I'm going to write in here the names of the colors, and then I'm going to come back. Editing Grace coming in here. You can see I wrote all the inks down in their color on the left-hand side, but I also forgot to share about the cards that I use to swatch each of the inks I get. They're called Colorverse art cards, and as you can see, it's a water-resistant design that you can see through when you paint the ink on, which is so cool. Of course, this is Ferris Wheel Press, Lights on Broadway. Next up is NOODLER'S Bay State Cape Cod Cranberry and Robert Oster Fire Engine Red. Next up is DIAMINE Gold Star. I love the shimmer in that one. DIAMINE Coral, such a beautiful orange. Next up is DIAMINE Appletini, and you can see on the right-hand side that chartreuse looking color. Next up is Pilot Irosujuku Konpeki. That long name, Monteverde DC Supershow Teal. D. Atramentis Brilliant Violet Copper. D. Atramentis Blackberry. It's such a rich color. And last, DIAMINE Tobacco Sunburst. I prefer to have that part there in orange. So, yeah, those are my 10 plus 1 inks for Ink Rainbow 23. Thank you, Sarah, for putting this out there. It's not until I actually started writing about the inks or writing down the inks that I noticed I have one each of NOODLER'S, Ferris Wheel Press, Monteverde, Robert Oster, and Pilot. I have 2 Diatramentis, but I have 4 DIAMINEs. 4 DIAMINEs in this group. Did not realize that until I started writing them down. But, I mean, come on, look at there. I have about 30 plus bottles and samples, more samples than bottles. And I just didn't realize until I pulled them that obviously DIAMINE right now are my favorites. And I need some new inks. I need to branch out a little bit. Anyway, that's it for now. Let me know in the comments what you think about these colors. And which one is your favorite? Which ones are your favorite? Which one of these do you already own? Do you own some? Let me know. And if there's a brown that you know that you love, definitely tell me about it. Alrighty. Talk to you later.